Hello everyone, I'm Tiffany and today I'm gonna play simple chess. The idea of this series is to try to apply the basic concepts that we have in chess. So I'm gonna try to explain my moves in the simplest way that I can. And I'm doing this because I know that a lot of beginners have difficulty with putting the theory into practice. So I'm gonna show you how I do it so that you can do it in your own games, okay? So in the game, we're gonna focus on following the opening principles, paying attention to the opponent's threats, always looking for attacking moves, and never forget it, look at the whole chessboard. I know that sometimes we're too focused on one specific part, but that's not right because the chessboard has 64 squares. So if we're looking only at half of them, you're probably missing a lot of stuff. Alright, so that said, let's go for our today's challenge. So currently I have 790 elo points on chess.com. So let's see which challenge do we get today. Gonna hit the play button and let's see. Okay, this is too... Okay, I'm just gonna turn this volume a little bit down. Just a second, let's see. Okay, so my opponent played pawn to e4. Controlling the center and freeing the bishop and the queen. I also did the same. Now he's attacking my pawn on e5, so I'm gonna just defend with knight to c6. Okay, now my opponent played g3. What could be his idea with this move? Well, let's see. Is it freeing a piece? Yeah, it's freeing the bishop a little bit. So probably my opponent wants to make something like bishop g2. Is it attacking me? No, so I'm just gonna continue with my plan. My plan is to develop my pieces, just to make sure. Okay, now he's playing pawn to d3. What could be his idea? Well, probably he's trying to put some pressure on my knight here on g5 and pin my knights, but he's not controlling the center that much. So maybe I could play pawn to d5 because I really want to also free this bishop that is on c8. And with d5 I'm attacking his center, and also I could be opening this file, the d file, for my pieces. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play d5 because he didn't play knight c3, for example. He didn't put pressure on the center. Okay, so he played knight b d2, developing his knight, which is fine. But I was attacking his pawn on e4. If I capture, he could recapture with this pawn, which is okay. And if he recapture with the knight, then I could capture here and I could capture the queen. Or I could just leave it there like it is and just develop another piece of mine. Let's see. I'm also thinking that maybe he could think of capture here on d5 and then play his knight to e4, trying to centralize his knight a little bit. Okay. I think that's fine, so I'm just gonna develop my bishop, just continue developing my pieces. Oh, and our opponent has a lot of rating points there. Okay, so he developed his bishop, which is completely fine. And here I need to develop my bishop that is on f8. Well, I really want a good square for this bishop. So yeah, so I'm gonna play bishop c5, developing my bishop to a nice square, looking at this. Oops, not that, f2. Now I'm gonna castle my king. That's also good. And here, okay, he played this, so I'm gonna recapture. He can play this knight to e4 move that was mentioning, and in this case I can, well, I need to return my bishop somewhere. I'm thinking of maybe b6 or e7. Okay, I'm gonna play bishop b6 just to keep an eye on that little pawn. Okay, he developed his queen. A little bit strange because the queen is blocking the bishop, but okay. And now let's see. I need to develop my rook. So, oh, but also I need to develop my queen. And what I'm thinking of is that I don't want my bishop to be pushed away so easily, so I'm gonna play queen d7 first, so still developing my pieces, but I'm trying to prevent this from happening. Okay, he's trying to play b4 for some reason. b4, and then maybe he wants b5. I'm just gonna stop his plan, just to be annoying. Okay, so he attacked my knight, so I need to be a little bit careful with this. I need to defend my knight, so I don't have a lot of safe squares where I can move to, so I'm gonna bring my knight to e7. I don't want f6 because then I could just capture and destroy my pawn structure. I don't like that to happen. Okay, so he played queen to g5 attacking my bishop, but my bishop is defended by my queen, so I don't need to care that much about it. So in this case I'm gonna play f6 just to attack the queen, and also to reinforce my pawn that is on e5. Okay, his queen is back. Alright, so now I need to bring... Yeah, now I need to bring this rook into the game, so I'm gonna attack that pawn. It's always good to be looking at attacking moves. Okay, and apparently he didn't defend his pawn, so I'm just gonna capture it. And I'm attacking his knight. Okay, so I was attacking his knight, as I mentioned. Does he have any trick here? If I capture, he can move his knight away, but then I can just come here again to d3, protected by the rook, so I'm gonna do this. Okay, he captured, I recaptured. I have only a few minutes left, so I need to rush a little bit so that I don't lose on time. Okay, here I'm also thinking of playing something like rook d3 if I'm allowed, because I wanna... Okay, I'm not allowed. Oops, almost gave my queen. This wouldn't be good. So I'm gonna play my queen here. Safe square. Always look at the whole board, as I was mentioning. Very important. So my knight's protected, my queen is protected, and his rook is not... Oops, not so good. I'm just gonna exchange this because, well, his pawn structure is now a little bit damaged. I still have this extra material, so it's also good to exchange when you have more material than your opponent. Yeah, now that I have only a little bit of time, my English is becoming a little bit strange, but I hope it's understandable. Okay, I want to capture that, but I don't want to give up the file as well. So I'm gonna play rook d3 because I want to bring the other rook to be active. I'm not caring so much about that pawn because I really want activity for my pieces. Usually activity is good. So now I need to do something with my knights because the knights are not looking very strong at the moment. So I'm gonna push this pawn to push this knight away so that I can have d square for my knight. This square is controlled by my pieces, so that's okay. I still need to be careful with my time though. Don't have much time left. Now it's thinking a little bit. Well, and after this knight, I need to also bring this knight into the game. Maybe I'm gonna place it on c6 after this knight is gone. And well, even though I have extra material, I have an extra piece, you still need to win your game. So keep putting pressure on your opponent's pieces, keep attacking, keep improving your piece's position. Just because you have extra material, it doesn't mean that you need to that's fine. But what I was saying is that just because you have extra material, it doesn't mean that the game is already won. You still need to do your job. So let's see what happened in this game. Okay, so my opponent started with e4. I played e5, knight f3, knight c6, just defending this g3 move. But okay. And I was just trying to do very simple moves. Knight f6, developing. d3, d5, trying to take control over the center since my opponent didn't play knight c3, for example, so attacking the center immediately. Here, knight b to d2. This was also a little bit strange because the pieces are not being activated that much in this early stage. So bishop g4, developing the bishop, keeping it simple, creating some pressure. Bishop to g2, bishop c5, developing the bishop, just continue my development. So here he castled, I also castled my king. So pretty simple until now. He captured on d5, now I recaptured. So my position is good. I have these pieces out already. I didn't have problems with releasing my pieces. Knight e4, attacking my bishop, just returned. So this move is actually a strange move because, okay, he was trying to get away from the pin, but at the same time it's a little bit strange looking move because the queen is blocking the bishop now, and she doesn't have like good squares where she can move to from d2. So when we don't really know where we want to put our piece so that it could be more active, then we shouldn't really move it at the moment, because it's better to do something that you already know than just do something that you probably need to spend another turn in order to fix it. The other idea that I thought of later in the game, like playing c4 and maybe c5 to block my bishop, I think it was a nice idea actually. So maybe he could have tried c4 now, attacking my knight, and then my knight would need to move, and maybe this c4 idea of blocking my bishop, I think would have been more interesting for him. But okay, queen d2, and again I was just trying to do my simple stuff, just developing the queen, looking at h3, a3, I just stopped him with a5. So here he played c4, attacking my knight, and if he attacked, I need to move. So knight e7 didn't have a lot of squares where I can move to. And this queen g5 I think was a little bit strange because, I mean, the queen is trying to create some pressure against my king, but this I think was a little bit too obvious. He's trying to bring his queen here to attack, and he's also creating this threat. So we needed to do something in order to defend. f6, attacking the queen returned. And here I just continued with my development, bringing another piece into the game and attacking a pawn. He didn't defend, so I just captured the pawn. Bishop e3, and here unfortunately he just gave me the knight, so I just captured it. Bishop takes. Be careful not to give your queen. I was thinking of d3 in the previous move, and then after knight e1 I couldn't, unfortunately, but that was okay. I just centralized my queen and offered the exchange. And if you're a piece up, it's good for you to exchange pieces, because with this your opponent will probably not have enough pieces to create counterplay. And if you're already ahead in material, you don't want to give any chances for your opponent to do any crazy stuff. So just exchange your pieces and you will be probably fine. Queen e3, captured. But even if you are ahead in material, you still need to do something in order to win. So you need to continue on improving your pieces and bringing the pieces into the game. So I brought the rook, exchanged it. I didn't care much about the pawn because I wanted activity for my pieces. So I brought the other rook, And then I was thinking of bringing the knights as well because they weren't doing a lot. So I really want my pieces to be active, to be doing important things during the game. So if they're not doing anything, I need to bring them into the game. Okay? Alright everybody, so I think that in this video the main topic was my opponent developing in an unusual way. I was just doing my basic moves, trying to control the center, develop my pieces, and my opponent was a little bit too creative with his moves. Maybe the moves weren't objectively so bad, but it kinda helped me a little bit in the opening, and we don't want to help our opponents in the opening or in any other phase of the game. So just play simple, just follow the principles, and everything's gonna be alright. Okay? Thank you very much for your attention, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye!